and we're going to make the meeting available to our customers. We've got a few things we wanted to go through first, and then we'll throw it open to bring in people to ask questions and kind of guide us as to where we go. So far here from kind of our crew here, we have Christina, who is our web developer. We have Anthony, who runs kind of the retail side of my News Express business. And so, Anthony, let's start with you first off, because I know you've got a bit of a time crunch. Um, so, you're using Retailer and you're using the Shopify with Retailer to connect into three or four different websites.
Correct, yeah. So we use Retailer to manage our stock inventory. We also use it with one of our websites, we use it to manage the image library and also our descriptions. Where with the other one, we've taken a different approach where we just use Retailer to manage our stock on hand level, and we do everything else inside of Shopify.
Yeah. So just for context, one of the websites is, $2.5 to $3 million a year. The other one's around, say, $500,000 a year, and the third one you're describing is literally only just started in the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
Um, and so the side of Retailer that you're using is we're using Retailer connected to the websites. If you're modifying prices of products and things like that, you do all of that in Retailer and it's syncing across.
Yeah, so we'll use one thing I like is the catalog function. So when we have a sale, we'll use the catalog function in Retailer because it helps display the was now price.
Yep.
And it just means we can easily have a start and end date on sales as well.
Okay. Um, I know with the websites, we've kind of taken an approach to not have too many apps running with Shopify. Um, so what apps are you currently using, say, for example, for fulfillment?
Also with our all our websites we use ShipStation
Yep.
for fulfillment. So all our orders will feed from all the different Shopify websites into ShipStation. From there we can calculate postage and fulfill. Then that sends information back into Shopify as well. Um, and our highest grossing website, which we have 280 SKUs on that website roughly any one time. So it's not a very large catalog. On that website, we use two paid apps on that website. And one of those is to manage basically purchase limits, because with all of that product, there are limits on how many a customer can purchase. So that's one app that we use. And then we've also got a app that we use where a customer within the checkout can add what we call shipping protection. So if they select that at checkout, we provide signature on delivery and coverage for that item.
And with ShipStation, it integrates with My Post Business, Sendle.
Yeah, so you can have your own accounts with like Sendle, Aramex, and things like that, or you can use ShipStation have preferred rates as well,
Mhm.
which we had an account with Sendle and we were on the top tier, and the ShipStation preferred rate was actually a little bit lower than
Mhm.
our max tier rate in Sendle. So we actually stopped using Sendle and Aramex Direct. We just went with the integrated their integrated rates, but then we've also got an e-parcel account and a MyPost business account as well. And so with the software we use, that there is a tiered base where you can actually pay a little bit extra and will automatically select the cheapest rate
Yep.
based on where you're setting to as well.
So from a management point of view, let's just talk briefly about the decisions around not overloading Shopify with apps, because I know some people like to get a whole bunch of apps that they use with Shopify. We've tended to not go that way, and I wonder if you want to speak to that for a moment.
Look, yeah, I mean, there can be conflict. So we're actually experiencing that at the moment. One of our apps, because we changed themes, it's having conflict with basically account purchase limits.
Yep.
So both app developers are actually looking into how they can rectify that, if they can rectify it or not. So we might have to take a different approach, or there might be costs involved in trying to get that fixed as well.
So it's a kind of a cautionary note to not overload your Shopify world with too many apps because there can be conflicts between the apps.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you would more broadly add? Because I know you're going to be heading off soon. Anything else you would more broadly add to the Shopify retailer experience?
Um, Look, probably not at this time. If there's any more things brought up during the meeting, I might yeah have
You may not be here.
yeah.
Hey, Mitch, we're going to go to you. So, Mitch, you're part of our help desk team. And while you are busy, yeah, there you go. You're unmuted now. I wonder if you can just take us into retailer, just first of all, and show us um, from retailer uh, what it would look like if we're working on, say, settings around syncing and things like that. Because syncing is one of the areas where we often get questions from people, um, where they might have trouble syncing or they want to push syncing. So show us what that looks like.
Okay, can you see retailer here?
Can do.
Excellent. So, I mean, the first sort of setup is sending to your website. So, stock maintenance at the top here,
Yep.
and you've got group management. That's where you can set up, if you want to send it by just a tick box.
Yep. Mitch, you're cutting in and out, so that's not going to work. Yep, I don't think he's there, Anthony. So we're probably going to stop sharing his screen. Can you call that up, Anthony, on your computer? I'm just going to unshare that. Okay, Anthony, are you able to share where you do the syncing or not? This is going really well. Here we go. And you're muted too.
Okay, that's up. Yeah, I think Mitch is back. I don't know if he's completely back with us.
Mitch is
Um,
completely, yeah.
So Mitch, tell Anthony where to go on his screen.
Stock maintenance at the top there,
Yep.
and group management.
Yep. Cool.
And so in this particular case, they've got it enabled by it's a tick box in the stock screen,
Yep.
and also for filtering that by a tag as well, just to make sure that there's only those products going up.
And so if someone says that they're not syncing between retailer and Shopify, they would be going in here to force a sync, or what would they do?
No, so this would be you'd be setting this up once. You set up your criteria how you want it to, and it's then probably set and forget. You'd be going, tasks and web link full sync. That would be triggering a sync to happen
Yep.
now.
Which we don't want to do.
And that's then going to send all your products up to your website.
There we go. And why would I do a full sync?
If you've, for example, made a lot of changes to your products and you're sort of wanting to, sync all that up, or
You don't want it happening in the background.
Exactly. You don't want to wait for it to sort of it'll process all these things itself automatically. But if you don't want to wait, you want it to happen now, you can just trigger it to do a full sync straight away.
Okay. What other common questions do you get, Mitch, when people have got a Shopify site and they're connecting to retailer that you come up with?
Well, sort of, what information they want to sync across would be the sort of the common question.
Yep.
Some people want to sync everything, want to manage everything in retailer and just, not have to really touch the Shopify side of things. Other people want to sort of only have quantity on hand update and price update and everything else they do in Shopify.
Yep.
And so in Tower Web Connect, that's where you can set up exactly what data points you have flowing across.
And what I have flying across today could be different to what I do in 2 months' time.
Yep, you can absolutely go in there, change that, and it'll then just stop syncing that particular data point.
Excellent. All right. All right, let's bring Christina in now and talk about it from the Shopify side of things. And so, Christina, one of the questions we get from people once they've had a website running for 6 months or 12 months is they want to refresh the website, make the website look more current and relevant. And how would you suggest they go about doing that?
First of all, a quick little review of how the website's performing is a great thing to do. Maybe you've updated the homepage not too often, so that's a great starting point. And basically, you want to keep content fresh and up to date.
Yep.
So number one thing is always the product feed, making sure you're reviewing stock. The second is the homepage, and how can you bring call to actions and make things more approachable there. So that's kind of from the content side of
But
things.
what does that mean? What you just said, you said nice words.
Yes.
What practically to a retailer who's not a techie person, what are you telling them to do?
So essentially reviewing the products and the homepage.
Yeah.
And beyond that, if you want to keep a nice update in terms of style, keeping it trendy, then looking at current trends and basically implementing a new, layout to your website.
So I can do that with a theme change.
That's correct. So it's very easy to change themes. Of course, if you've got customizations, as in more technical things installed on your computer, I should say theme there. Essentially, it might be a bit of a, developer might be required, but if you've got content product, you're basically ready to go. You can review all the, themes, the layouts available on the Shopify theme store and simply install, update the homepage, and you're good to go.
And so if I'm going to be modifying themes, where would I be finding that in my Shopify setup?
So everything's based on the online store.
Yep.
That's on the left-hand side.
So I select online store.
Correct. It gives you a preview of what's currently available. So you might have your live theme as indicated there. You can see what else has been installed as well. But if you head to the bottom, basically you can do one of two things. You can access Shopify's free flagship themes as indicated there with the little thumbnails.
Yep.
Or on the bottom right-hand side, you've got Visit Theme Store. So
Right.
if you give that a click, you can actually review what's on offer.
So I can go down here and click Visit Theme Store. But if I do that, that's where I'm going to be spending money on themes, isn't it?
Well, you've got a combination of paid themes. That's the majority of things here.
Yep.
And then, as I mentioned, the premium flagship offerings through Shopify, which are actually for free. They're included in the Shopify system.
Right. So even the most expensive themes, they're not, they're $500. They're not crazy expensive.
Correct. Yeah.
But if I go, as you say, and look at the free themes, I've got the ability to look at those there and choose them based on the products that I happen to be selling.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
whilst I'm here in the Shopify back end, what else would you suggest that I could look at to refresh my website?
The number one thing is content. So as mentioned earlier, that can be product-based or it could be the homepage. So the homepage is always the great starting point because customers will see that first.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, if you've got new products that you're releasing, that's the great space to put it. It's the first thing that customers will see. Yep.
And if I'm using a good theme, it's going to be automatically feeding new products through that homepage, isn't it?
Yep. So long as you've got a section showcasing a collection, which is a product range in Shopify,
Yep.
you can have that automatically flowing through.
Yep.
It could be new arrivals. It could be a new, promoted collection that you have. Yeah.
So if I, for example, click on here and I edit theme, that's me modifying the theme that I'm using or selecting a different theme.
Editing the theme is modifying the current one that you have there, so you can give that a click.
Yep.
It brings a little customizer. It's very visual. You can do one of two things. So by default, it's loaded with an inspector tool, which means you can hover and click. So anything that you see here, you can click it and it brings up the relevant options. So yeah, if you have, say, any titles that you want to click, you can easily amend the text there. It's very straightforward. Or you can also showcase things like blog posts. So anything in the back end can essentially be loaded on the homepage here and
Yeah.
any other page as well. Yep.
So we didn't have the blog post initially appearing with this theme. So I went and added this myself and felt very proud that I could do that without too much trouble. And so I can easily add more sections to this or whatever, and they'll automatically be managed by Shopify as I add them.
In the sense that it's hosted through Shopify, you're using their system and you're using the theme features to basically create different sections and layouts. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you think while we're in here we should look at if people want to modify their websites at all?
Well, let's say if you're happy with the structure, but
Mhm.
you want to keep things a little bit fresh. So I mentioned a different style. Well, it's very easy to update the color scheme, the text, the font that you've got selected within the website. So they're basically global settings that you can change. And in a couple of clicks or so, you can get a different style happening with the current layout.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's stop sharing that. Mitch and Anthony, while we've been talking about that, has anything else come to mind that you guys wanted to cover at this point?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. What I would mention is we just spoke then about blog content. And blog content really is the best way to drive traffic to a website. You would have seen when I had the ornaments one open there were 4 blog posts about charity Christmas cards. And if you go and search for charity Christmas cards in Australia right now, you'll see our website is listed number 1 or number 2 anywhere in the country. And that's solely because of the blog posts that we've got there. So blog posts are an easy, free way to list the business through Google search results. And we're using a mixture of AI generated content and human written content so that our authority score with Google is remaining quite high in terms of how Google is considering us. The other thing that we do to drive traffic to the websites is we use the email platform from within there too. So if I just go back to here, so for example, if I get out of there, exit there, and if I want to go and do marketing, I'll go and select marketing up here. I go and open email, and then that takes me directly into the Shopify marketing platform, and I can have it generate emails for me really easily. I go and click on create campaign, and I'm already in there, and it's giving me template options. And this is a really easy way to reach out to existing customers. And we, with this website and our other websites where we've got, quite a few thousand customers, we will email them roughly once a month. But the emails are very short, they're very sweet, and they're really just announcing information. There's not lots of imagery or hype because our people, the customers we're dealing with, typically are very matter of fact, and so we're very, very much leaning into that in terms of how we communicate with them. All right, let's take a moment and see if anybody has questions or areas they would like us to talk about, specific things they would like us to answer for them.
I've got a question for Christina regarding the category meta fields.
Yeah.
In terms of like what is best practice around that to help search easier, customers to search the website easier to find product, but also using that to actually help categorize and structure the website.
You're talking about product meta fields.
Category meta fields, yeah.
So category meta fields are what we call standardization of products. So if you've ever shopped through the big ones, eBay and Amazon, you've likely found that a product is categorized into, let's say, pet food and then specifically dog food, maybe adult dog food. So essentially, you've got tools on hand through Shopify to standardize this. So that can be selected underneath the product imagery there. You can see that it's automatically detected. There's a little purple highlight on the top right of that field. It's giving you suggestions unless you need to choose one specifically. So once that's selected, you can actually scroll down a little bit down the page.
Mm-hmm.
You've got that little purple section there, so a bit further down.
Yep.
There we go. It's recommending some extra data points to essentially make your product be found easier through search engine results and also
Sure.
through
Would you
sales
suggest
channels.
that I accept all of those?
If that's looking good, you can hit select. Yep.
Here we go.
Now, category meta fields are great, I would say, at this point in time for non-variant items, so just simple items for now. We can get into that a bit more in detail, but essentially it's a great way to leverage standard options that you might leverage on your website and, like I mentioned, sales channels. So yeah, extra data points and it works it out for you.
So I don't know the answer to the question, so I'll just ask it.
Yeah.
There's no way I can just go and do this in bulk for all of these?
It's a newer feature, so I must admit, not 100% sure, but you can definitely do it on a product case level, so product by product.
And there's no way I can do this across in retailer, so this comes across automatically for me.
Not at this point in time. So we've got ways to actually send across retailer category meta fields, which I would say is more important and more specific to your business as well. So this is great for standard information.
And that's part of, Anthony, what you've got here, isn't it? These are tags within retailer or not?
Correct. Yeah. They're tags within retailer.
Yeah. So, so Christina, you're saying, given this sort of option in Shopify, it probably makes a lot of sense that people go and check products and see if there's suggestions on these meta fields.
It's definitely a great tool to check out to see how you can improve your own data as well. So if you've already got products loaded with this information in retailer, then there's no need to go through these extra steps, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Anthony, what was your other question?
That was my main question.
Your main question. Okay. Because I know we were talking to some retailers the other day. Was that one of the questions they had?
Yeah, in terms of how they could utilize that.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, who else has other questions that we can talk about while we're together today? Okay. So, Mitch, we're going to come back to you then. Because you get to talk to a lot of customers, are there common questions that you can think of? I know this is a question without notice, but are there common questions you can think of that we could speak to that might be covering helpful information for people?
So I sort of deal with a wide spectrum of the setup process and also going through once the website's live, why isn't this item syncing and sort of things like that. I suppose to answer that last question, it would be, is it set up correctly in retailer? Is it flowing across to Tower Web Connect? Is it in Shopify? Sort of you can sort of go through a pretty standard sort of checklist to find out where the problem is. Setup process would be, why have I've got a product that I've got set up, but it's not syncing across into the correct collection in Shopify. And that's normally just, the option's not ticked in Tower Web Connect that needs to have that information update. As I was saying earlier, you can control what information flows across. So sometimes it's a little bit too restrictive, and so the expected information is not flowing across because it's not enabled.
Yep. And if going back to the syncing thing, you can force the sync, but if I haven't forced the sync and it's going to operate in the background, that's really a function of kind of data load at the time and all of that,
Correct. So, you've got basically anytime you make a change in retailer, it adds it to a processing queue where it'll work through that queue to sync that information up every 5 minutes in the background to Tower Web Connect and across to Shopify.
Okay.
If you've got there are certain informations that aren't included in that. So, like for example, if you're taking things off your website, that's only done once a day because it's just not as sort of common. That's where you'd be forcing that sync, and that can happen right now.
Yep.
Catalogs is another one where it's done that once a day rather than every 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay. If anybody doesn't have any questions, Christina, is there anything else that you would add?
maybe more discussion of getting website traffic. So I guess we're yet to touch on that. Is that of interest to anyone in terms of going
Look,
through that?
it's something that a lot of people have questions on. Because some people think, oh, I should get a consultant um, who's gonna do this magically for me and get all this traffic, and consultants will cost a lot of money.
Yep, I can see we've got a couple of thumbs up there.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you're looking to DIY or even just become familiar with the basics before employing other businesses to take on that role for you, yeah, it's really important to just, short little learning curve to understand a bit more about Shopify first, or any website platform that you're using. But yes, so when it comes to generating website traffic, we've covered two important things, one being your product feed, and the second one being the blog feed as well. People often forget about that. And then thirdly, you have your sales channels. So your online store, your website is your main way of, getting traffic, of course. But if you don't have a dedicated agency, you're trying to figure out, okay, how do I get more customers or, people flowing through to the website? So of course you can do paid ads through, Google, Facebook, etc. But you can leverage the free tools on hand. So essentially you've got sales channels. So that could be connecting to Facebook Shop or Instagram Shop. It can also be connecting to Google and YouTube if that's applicable. Even TikTok as well. So if you're looking to extend your reach, you've already got your product feed loaded into Shopify, and you're one click away from connecting to those additional shops, essentially for free. So basically, those three aspects, the product feed, you've got your blog feed, and of course the sales channels, sure ways to generate interest and essentially be more trustworthy in Google and other search engines' eyes. Yeah.
Look, the comment I'd make about connecting, for example, to Google is that, yes, it's essentially for free, but Google very, very quickly is knocking on your door saying, give us money so that we'll lift your ranking up. So, the sales channels become a bit of a thing. I think it's helpful if you're talking about driving traffic, it's helpful to focus on what the website stands for. What do you want to be known for? So in our case, with the Ornaments website, we wanted to be known for charity box Christmas cards. So we're obsessively writing about charity box Christmas cards as a topic generally, and then about specific charities. So we've got some cards that support ovarian cancer research. So we've written about that. We've got cards that support Dementia Australia. So we've written about that. And so it's and we're typically publishing on that website 3, 4, or 5 blog posts a week during our peak period or leading up to our peak period. And I think that's the sort of thing that retailers have got to be doing to help drive their Shopify sites. We don't pay for any advertising. We're not interested in paying for advertising. Partly because we're lucky in the sense that items we're selling are being sought after. But I could see if you're in a more competitive marketplace, you'd soon want to pay somebody to do it. But geez, I'd be very careful about who I choose to give that money to, I think. And I think, Christina, that you would agree with that in terms of being...
For sure, yeah.
It's a bit of a minefield out there.
Yep. And I guess one further thing to highlight is often after launching a website, people kind of sit and forget. They might actually forget to review, hey, there's analytics inbuilt into the platform. If they're not, for example, setting up Google Search Console or Google Analytics, you can actually use the platform itself to understand how customers find your products and your website, what pages they're seeing often. And then if you did want to take it a step further, you can then leverage more technical tools, but free, of course. That's Google Search Console and Analytics there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got the analytics down the side here, and you can very easily get to see information that's useful about, what your sales are, sales by product, average order value, conversion over time, sessions by device type, which is
Yes. Yep.
where they're coming.
Generally, it's 50-50 when it comes to mobile and desktop use.
Really?
Correct, yeah.
I'm seeing it certainly a stronger indexing of mobile.
Yes, yeah. That's the baseline. So if you find there's more mobile customers, then that's where you would want to target that with the mobile experience on your website. And with the case of Shopify, they have Shop app, which is a listing that you can get for free through their mobile platform.
If you want to obsess, you can also look at the live view.
Yes, exciting.
See who's there, and it's quite fascinating to see. We did a sale earlier this year, and we had, I don't know, 40, 50,000 people on one of the websites, and it was quite crazy. So yeah, that's certainly pretty helpful. Anything else while we're in here looking at analytics? I mean, there's reports as well. You've got some pretty cool.
Reporting, yeah, for sure. I think using that as a means to target certain customers is fantastic. So you can do returning or repeat customers.
Yep.
You can see how they've found you, so through social media, etc. And then basically creating different email campaigns. So using inbuilt Shopify email campaigns to send out to those specific customers. So if you want to do some testing, A/B testing, how does one campaign perform with one group versus another? You can easily achieve that through Shopify and automations as well. There's little ways to automate it for you. Yeah.
Yep. So I've gone here and selected a blank email template. And so you can scroll up here. I go and select my segment. In this case, I'm going to send it to people who've subscribed. I'll just put in hi, whatever that means. And then I'm going to add a section here. I'll put in some text. And then after that, I'm going to add a section of products. And to show how easy it is, you go and select static with the products. And I'm going to select these different products that I want to put into the email. And this will show you just how simple it is, because I'll add all of those in and automatically it will drop those products in. And I mean, this is just such an easy way, Christina, as you were saying, to create a marketing email. It's just so simple. And it really is just, click and move, and it just happens so easily. So certainly in terms of my marketing, I would be putting in a blend of Shopify marketing emails as well as external emails. Okay, does anybody want to add anything else or ask any more questions? Okay, we will leave it there. Invariably, as these things go, we'll put the video up, people will watch it and then say, oh, you didn't cover this or that. So come back, email us, and we will get together again and talk again. Thank you, Anthony, Mitch, and Christina. And we will talk soon.
Thank you.